The Interrogation by C.K. Walker. How is it that you can't remember, David? Because nothing happened. Someone died that day, though, didn't they? I've already told you, there was no murder, no one died to my knowledge. The one named Shaw braced his arm on the table in front of me and hung his head between his shoulders, mumbling to himself in obvious frustration. "All right," said the other one, called McNutley, from a darkened corner of the small room. "Why don't you tell us what you do remember?" "Look, am I being arrested?" "No, you're being questioned," from McNutley. "I've been here for 7 hours now, and I just want to go home." "You can't go home, Mr. Lancer." "Then I want my lawyer. Have you tried calling the number I gave you? Christian Bennett's office." "We can't reach him." "Give me my phone then. I'll call him." "We don't have your phone." I pounded my fist on the table and shot out of my chair. "God damn it, what game are you playing with me? I'm a citizen and I have rights." They continued to stare at me, but said nothing. I crumbled back down into my chair and ran my hands through my hair. "I want to see my wife then." The one named Shaw let out a slow sigh, and then dragged his chair to the other corner of the room, and dropped into it, and kicked his legs to rest his ankles on the doorknob, and then pulled out a pack of smokes. "You know that's not an option, David." "Why is that not an option?" "Do you really not remember what happened?" McNutley asked. "I've told you, I don't know what you're talking about. What I do remember is you guys showing up at my house and arresting me out of the blue." "You aren't under arrest, David," Shaw said through the cigarette between his lips. "I'm being detained against my will. If I'm not under arrest, I suppose this could be classified as kidnapping." "Tell me about the party," McNutley said. "I've told you everything I can remember about that party." "You've been omitting some important details, Mr. Lancer." "I don't know what else there is you want to hear. Jen and I showed up on time at the restaurant. We met our future daughter-in-law's parents. We had dinner, champagne. We celebrated Andrew's engagement for a few hours, and then we went home. And then someone died." "No one died! We ate, we drank, we paid the bill, and then Jen and I left." "And how much was that bill?" asked Shaw. "I don't remember. A little over $7,000, I think. There were a lot of people there." "That's an awful lot of money for a dinner," McNutley said. "It was my son's engagement party." "And your daughter-in-law's parents didn't offer to chip in?" "No. My wife and I are fairly well off, and they are not. Some business they owned went south. Her father made a big deal about letting us know about it. I think he hoped we would offer to sell the bill, which we did." "And your son Andrew didn't contribute either?" "Why would he? Andrew and Maggie have only just graduated from college. They don't have a lot of money right now. I believe they're trying to get Maggie's student loans paid off." "Let me ask you this. Did your son ever ask about your wealth? Has he taken an interest in your finances lately?" Shaw asked, as he ground the cigarette out underneath his boot heel. "No, what does Andrew have to do with this?" "Why don't you tell me what happened after you left the restaurant?" McNutley drawled. "For the 1,000th time, we went home and to bed." "Now tell us about the murder, David," Shaw said. "I don't know how many other ways to tell you people. There was no murder. Jesus Christ, do I need a lawyer in here? Am I suspected of something?" McNutley and Shaw exchanged a look. "Mr. Lancer," McNutley stepped out from his desk in the corner, but didn't unfold his arms. He seemed to regard me with distant amusement, while Shaw stared intently through rings of smoke. If this was a game of good cop and bad cop, it was obvious who was who. "Did you see your son again that night?" "No, I did not," I said through clenched teeth. "Why do you keep asking me about Andrew?" "Did something... Is Andrew... My God. Andrew is not the victim here, but I think you know that, don't you?" I sighed with relief. "I don't know anything anymore." "Did you see him again that night?" Shaw repeated. "No." "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure I did not see Andrew again that night. Please, just tell me what this is about. What happened to Andrew?" "Your son is perfectly fine, Mr. Lancer." Perfectly alive, that is. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Are you sure you don't remember seeing your son again that night? I did not see Andrew again that night. But then, right at that moment, my words became untrue. Andrew's face appeared in my mind's eye. From a scene I couldn't remember taking place, he had emerged from the dark, pale and frightened, holding something that wasn't quite in the frame. Do you remember the murder, David? And then a sound bled into the scene too, a ragged breath from him, like tearing paper, a surprised utterance of his name from me, a burdened grunt, an unexpected crack in the darkness, and footsteps running up the stairs. And then I remembered it all, suddenly falling away from me. Do you remember who died that night? McNutley asked, leaning against the wall next to the window. He was looking out of it, into the darkness, into a world I had failed to notice in my long hours in this room, or perhaps had tried not to. A world made only of sharp gray angles, raw white corners, a world without color or curves. Yeah, I think I do remember now, I said, staring out the same window, waiting for a sun that should have risen hours ago. It was me.